Hey guys, my name is Bill Wishart, and the book I chose for this presentation was The Ultimate Guide to Video Game Writing and Design by Flint Dill. I highly recommend this book to any of you interested in designing digital games. The book goes over the entire design process of a game and has a lot of good techniques and theories to help you get started developing games. The main thing I took away from this book, and that I'll focus on in this video, is good storytelling practices and how to build characters. One of the biggest challenges in storytelling in digital games is creating engaging content that enhances the overall experience of the game, but does not slow it down. Audiences are looking to be engaged and in control, so slowing down this experience is not something you want to do lightly. While cutscenes are an extremely useful storytelling tool, when designing one, you need to stop and consider, is this something I can show the audience through play instead? A popular movie axiom for storytelling is don't say it, show it. Well, in this book, the authors have their own spin on that. Don't show it, play it. So the first thing I want to go over when it comes to building characters is the 5 different types of characters you will likely build in a game. The first type is your player-controlled character or hero. As you can probably guess, this is the player that you, the player, controls as you play the game. The rest fall under the non-player character or NPC category. You have your allies who will either help you or has to be helped by you. In a party-based game like Dragon Age Inquisition, these can also be characters that you can direct and give commands to. You have your neutral characters, who are neither friendly nor hostile, who can range from a member of a milling crowd to a trader selling you goods. The most important thing about neutrals is that they give your world life and adds a dimension to your world beyond here are the good guys, here are the bad guys, go at it. That leads us pretty well into our next type, which is the enemy or foe. An enemy or foe will actively attempt to thwart whatever you, the player, are trying to accomplish, and they can come in a variety of different shapes, sizes, and difficulty. One thing to keep in mind is that the NPC category can be dynamic and can change on the fly based on a player's action. For example, if you walk into a town filled with neutrals in Skyrim and kill a chicken, you will now have a bunch of crazed villagers hunting you down. The last type of character is your level bosses or uber enemies. These enemies are more powerful than your average enemy and usually also have dedicated story elements tied to them. The main villain of a game will often be referred to as an end boss, and there will be gameplay associated with them that makes them the most difficult to defeat. One of the cooler, more recent implementations of level bosses in a game was with Dragon Age Inquisition. In their high dragons, typically you get an end level and you have to fight the big boss to move on. However, these 9 massive bosses, arguably the hardest enemies in the game, are scattered throughout the world, but there's no requirement to fight them. The only incentive to go fight them is the will to test your power, or the unfortunate wrong turn. Going back to the list of characters, you might notice I did not talk about the player-controlled character that much, and I would like to come back to that now, because they are more often than not the most important character you will need to design. Now, if you're creating a franchised character, like Master Chief or Lara Croft, the heroes are already well defined and will not require or even allow much variation on your part as the designer. Creating a new hero from scratch allows you much more creative freedom, but also adds more challenges. One of the biggest challenges, especially with story-driven games like Inquisition, is trying to avoid diminishing the character. The hero is the player, and the game needs to give the player information, and this often requires games to make the hero the dumbest character in the game, and more often than not go with the classic he has amnesia gambit. Inquisition does unfortunately start off with the amnesia gambit, where you are the only survivor of this catastrophe and you can't remember what happened. However, it is still a great example of a game that has all of these different elements within it, and it shows how the different types of characters create an immersive world for the story. It allows you as the player to affect other characters in the game by your actions. It makes you feel as if you were playing the story rather than being shown it.